Hi, this is Profile, and I am Faye Ellington. I did promise you part 2 of our conversation with Superintendent of Police, Gladys Brown Ellis. And we're going to go into that right now. I know you've been waiting to hear that incident downtown. I'm going to have her talk about it momentarily. And even before I tell you about the incident, this is a book she's speaking of, her first publication, and she has another one, all right? Perhaps you could get a copy of it, because it really is very helpful to understand how women, the impact of gender equality on the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Gladys, thank you for staying for part 2. Yes. Listen to me. I don't want anybody to get my head, so just tell people what happened to you 2 days after you graduated from Norman Manley Law School downtown.
Right. I would have been placed at the DPP and went on my lunch break, but I decided to get some money from the ATM at Scotia Center to go pay my bills. On my way back, I was talking to my friend, Cecilia Chapman. She's my girlfriend. We are very good, very close friends. And talking to her and walking on the road, which is something I have been recommending to people not to do. And walking along Port Royal Street to turn at the credit union to go up by DPP, somebody came up Temple Lane, Faye, and just stabbed me right on this arm. And the blood just started to spew. So by the time I look around, I heard a voice say, "Hey, girl, give me the money." And before I could even say, and the money was in my hand, and the phone was on top of that, because generally when I go to the ATM, I don't put the money in my handbag. If you grab the handbag, you're not getting anything or get anything. But he decided that he didn't want the money anymore, it seems, because the blood was spewing from my arm. And he seems to be fascinated with the blood. And fear, Lord ma, the boy put on a piece of stab up on me. And I had to bring in my martial arts training now and start to use my hand to block him. And this hand suffered a lot of trauma.
I'm seeing some scarring on your
Yes, because
hand.
this is plastic surgery. Right. Dr. Taylor at the chest hospital brought this back.
So what happened?
He was asking me for the money. I wanted to throw the money on the ground for him to go for it, because I had a weapon in my bag, and I wasn't about to let no boy just rob me and get away. But I recognized that I was caught off guard. So I decided that, let him get the money and go where he was going. But he wasn't interested in the money. And he came at me, and when I was there blocking, he came under my guard with arms and running blood and everything, and he slashed me across the stomach, and my intestines just fell out on the road, just hung there, goo and everything running out. And when I recognized that what I thought was I was mortally wounded, I decided that if I must die, let it not be like hogs, hounded in an inglorious pen. The Claude McKay thing came back, and I said, I'm going to fight to the death.
So you're on the ground now?
No, I wasn't on the ground at that time, strong like a bull cow. And I was just fighting back now. So I grabbed the blade, because I said to myself, if I'm going to die, I don't need a hand. But I may be able to save myself if I am able to grab that blade and decide where that blade goes. So I grabbed the blade, and immediately on grabbing the blade, it cut this part of my hand off. One hand is bigger than the other, but I still have 2 hands. And in grabbing the knife now, Faye, the guy, I kick off my high heel boot, and I grab the boy in the chest, and I drag him down to my level, because I recognized that he was taller than I was. Kicking off the high heel boot, I go down to my 5 feet 4.5. Nobody said that I joined the force because I was supposed to be 5 feet 5 feet. And I said, I put on a piece of fight down there, so I use the knife now, the blade that I had.
People were not around?
People were around us. People formed a ring around us like a cockfight. And whilst some were there watching, others were going through my handbag, taking out the phones. I had my little makeup kit. You have the little pouch with the little lip gloss and all of that. And what they thought was money and everything, they just took and gone. And the gun was in the bottom of the bag, and nobody saw that. Thank you, Jesus. Because in the force, they are always concerned about the gun first.
So how did it all end?
It ended in the space where I decided to fight back, and I put on a piece of fight fire, and then we heard a siren coming. It was a police vehicle coming up the one-way. Years later, I heard that the driver thought, it didn't know it was a one-way and was going in the wrong direction. The boy heard the noise. He was a 21, just like as old as my son, Dwayne Spencer. He's a soldier.
Your son is Dwayne Spencer.
One and only child to faith.
Yes.
Lucky thing I kept him.
Yes. So the police came.
The police vehicle drove past because he saw the ring on the crowd, and he thought it was the downtown people as usual doing their thing. So he sped by, but the boy heard the siren and got up and ran away, leaving me on the ground. And when I tried to get up, the world was just...
But you're losing blood. You're losing
I lost a lot of blood.
And
when I was to get up now, there was not one person to say, move your hand and let me put mine. And I scoop up what was mine. I scoop up my intestines, watch the goo running down my handbag, and didn't care, because that was mine. And I said, God, give me 5 minutes. That's all I need. Because KPH was just up the road. And somebody gave me a piece of paper towel, and I used it to put right here. I scoop up what was mine and use them to plug the hole, put the paper towel over it, and I then plug this one. And this is how I tried to get up, and I couldn't get up. The world was tumbling around. And that's when I said, Gladys, knock down but not knock out. You still have a chance to make it, girl. I said, God, give me 4 minutes, 5 minutes. God gave me I reached the hospital in 4 minutes.
Oh, you got there.
Because the first car that came along, those who were there watching, commandeered that car. The man was moving. They lie on the car face, on the front of it, on the back, and they said, no, you're not passing. The man said, no, she's going to blood up my car. Because later on, I heard that he was afraid of blood. It wasn't that he didn't want to help me, but that is the car that took me to the hospital. And as soon as I reached there like this, and somebody came and I said, I'm a police officer, and that was it. My hands fell, and somebody put their hand there, and that's it.
What a story.
And I said, call Ione Ramsey and tell her what happened. And I said, it just last...
Why did you ask for them to call Ione Ramsey?
Ione Ramsey was my mentor.
Retired superintendent of police.
Yes, retired superintendent of police, Ione Ramsey. That was the woman who filled me up with vitamins when I was losing it, When my first marriage broke up and I was at Norman Manley studying, she said, Gladys, you can't study without vitamins in your body, and you're going to make it. You're not going to disappoint me. You're going to make it.
She's
so
like
you better
that,
get your act together. And she went and she bought all the natural stuff, and she padded me up, man. And I must say Miss Ben played a huge role in my first and second
Deputy
year.
Commissioner of Police.
Oh, yes.
So
I had those women to lean on, and Ione Ramsey was down there, Miss Ben, were by the hospital before you could quaint.
How long did you stay in hospital
16
for?
days, because I heard that I died whilst in surgery, and they resuscitated me. And it was on the news that I had died. Some said I wasn't going to make it, but God was on the job. My church was praying for me. My Bishop Clinton Thompson, my overseer, Lorna Morris, the Calvary Evangelistic Church of God, and the prayer warriors and the prayer band faith, they get down,
Amen.
man, and the devil was defeated, because I believe that God has a purpose for me.
And so
yes,
he does for
and
all
I survived.
of us. Wow. What a story. I told you.
So knock down is not knock out.
Knock
and that's
down.
my mantra.
Knock
and I
down,
keep telling
not
people,
knock
knock
out.
down is not knock out. You may knock me down, but I'm going to get up. I'm going to rise, brush off myself, and get going and reach where I want to reach.
We're going to take a break now. And then I'm going to tell you about every girl's dream. And she made it her reality. She found the most gorgeous man. And I'm
Can
going
I
to tell you
tell
how she found the man.
Oh, my God.
And you can't miss this. We'll be right back after the break. Tell me that you're not enthralled and inspired. Tell me that you don't find the need to be as courageous as my guest. Well, I am all of those. Gladys Brown Ellis. So all of these things happening to you. Marriage breakup. You fight off knife-wielding man. You're doing all kinds of things. And then you had to go up to New York for a wedding.
Yes.
And something happened.
I tell you something before. The Thursday, I was at my hairdresser, big up Kelly and Debbie and Wingy downtown. And I was doing my hair fade. And my dress kind of rode up a bit, and I was looking at my legs. That I was on my own then for 14 years. And I was saying, God, look how my legs them pretty, look how me look good. You're going to make me dead and Congo worm eat my body, and me not get nobody. And I said, no, son, everybody in the place laugh. Because it's like they didn't see where this came from in the old. They are doing my hair, and all of a sudden, that's what I came out with. And I was there rubbing on the foot, and I said, God, no, man, we need a man. Me one can admire this good up body. We need somebody to help me admire its face. Because all these years I would have been keeping the temple of the Lord in perfect condition, you know. And that's all I own, this body. And I want to say to women out there, this is the temple of the Lord. Don't ruin it. Because when Mr. Right comes, he wants substance over hype. He wants substance. He wants a good up body. No matter how the man out there running up and down and he's bad, when he's looking for Mrs. Right, the perfect woman, is going to want the best.
So tell me how you find your best.
Let me tell you, my
and
God Almighty,
do you still
Lord, in hallelujah. See, I met the best man any woman could ask for.
How you met him?
I went to this wedding where I was the MC. My brother was getting married. The same hairdo I was doing was to go there.
By the way, do the same people do your hair now?
They are the same people.
Your hair is gorgeous. It looks as if somebody used crochet needles and did it. But
these
you said,
girls
no,
are
it's
the
not.
best.
It's beautiful.
They use their fingers.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway,
beautiful.
tell me, because I want to see if I can follow in your footsteps.
I tell you, man, God was on the job too, because he answers prayer. And when I went to that wedding, I was the MC. And I, of course, introduced the bridal party. And I didn't know that the gentleman was there. He told me later that he heard this authentic Jamaican voice. And he was like, where's that coming from? Because where I went, I was the only person from Jamaica who came from here. And you know I don't put on a twang in a fee. You get the good patois, you get the proper English. Right? And he said he heard this authentic voice. And he said, where is that voice? And then he saw me coming around the corner. And he said from there he was enthralled. And I went through the MC and I was explaining to my brother and his wife how they are to treat each other, the things that will make a marriage work and the things that they are to avoid. And he said he sat there and heard me and said, her husband must be a lucky man. Because he was saying she can't speak like that unless she has a husband who's enjoying all of those things. So the mother heard me saying that I'm not...
Whose mother?
It's Calvin's mother.
Oh, your husband's
My husband's mother. Heard me saying that I'm single. So she came to me when there was a lull in the reception to, are you really single? And I said, yes. She said, let me see your finger.
Matchmaker,
And she looked at my
make
finger,
me a match.
and she said, come with me. And she took me to her son and said, meet my son, he's single too. And she told me that when she heard me talking, she said, that's my son's wife. Not knowing that Mr. Ellis was thinking that this is the woman I want. My sister who was at the table was saying that, why don't you get up and go catch the garter belt? He said, no, I'm not interested in catching any garter belt. It's the woman I want. And she said, then why don't you make an approach? He said, no, I'm shy. But when the mother came and introduced us now, he gave me his card after. So I took it out of politeness. As me nina look no man, you know, feel. No desperate, me nina look nobody. But when I went home now, I was talking about...
in New York.
Home in New York,
yes.
where my sister
staying.
was after the wedding. The Saturday now, the Monday, and the Sunday, everybody was talking about the wedding and how well I did with the MC, and people were just chatting about the whole thing in terms of the advice I gave, the facts of life. And I told him about this man giving me his card. And my sister said, where's the card? I said, it's in my purse. She said, let me see it. And she took up the card. And the other sister was saying, there was also a man at my table, you know, talking about, he don't want to catch no garter belt that you want. And she said, how you want so lucky? 2 men at the same wedding, only for us to put the facts together and realize that it was just Mr. Ellis. So my sister took up the phone and said, call him, man, you know, nothing to lose. And I say, you call him and you want man? Me no want none. And she called him. I thought she was going to talk to the man. She called the man and the man answered. She put the phone in front of me. So, you know, I have to get my composure together and, hi, how are you? And blah, blah. And from there, Faye, the rest, we spoke on the phone. Our courtship took place on the phone because I came back the Monday to Jamaica. And we met in April and we never met again until in sometime in August, thereabout. And when I meet the man pop up his engagement ring on me, this one. And the man said, I see what I want, I'm going to pay down on it. Hi. I'm going to pay down on it. I mean, I invest in this. And Fear is the sweetest man I have ever come across. You know, inside, beautiful in and out. The man is almost perfect to the point where that's a problem. The only problem I have with my husband is clean. Too clean Fear.
What do you mean?
If you sit in a chair and the cushion get crushed or lean, he comes and he shake it into place. I say, Calvin, man, come on, man. I'm sitting in the chair, come on. The man, he just fluff up and fluff up. I said, no. Chairs were made to be sat in and for you to be comfortable.
When you're with him, because he lives in New York.
He lives in New York.
You are here working, but
Yeah.
you move between the two
Yes,
places,
we do.
both of you. But when you see each other, what's the first thing you do when you see each other?
We just laugh and smile and we just hug. Because he's one of those, like he'll just come at you like this. I my sweetest lady, and he just grab you. And he's such a darling. I didn't know that men like that were still around.
How long did it take you, take him to propose to you after he'd met you?
It said April, the 21st of April, May, June, July, August.
And he popped
4 months. And he popped, the man said, I see what I want.
How long have you been married?
I have been married for 4 years now. August coming will be 5 years. And the man said, listen, I am not going to run any risk. You think I'm a stupid Jamaican man? How could they have somebody like you in Jamaica and nobody grab you? Well, I'm not going to make that stupid mistake. And you know, Faye, that point is a very interesting one. Because people look at Gladys and because I'm strong, they think I'm intimidating. So this man looked beyond the police, the lawyer, the teacher, because I teach,
Yes.
I lecture at St. George's College, 6 formers, law. And people will look at me and say I'm a strong woman and I'm domineering, or I try. When I'm in my home, I'm a woman, a sexy girl, nice, sweet girl. No police, no lawyer.
At you.
Not in my house. I drop those at the doorway when I enter my home.
You need to just make sure that all of us women sit and listen to you. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have the final segment of this maybe we should have a 4-part. Anyway, this 2-part series with Gladys Brown Ellis. What a fabulous conversation. Sister, lovely. Some conversations you just don't want to end, and this is one such. My guest is Gladys Brown Ellis, Superintendent of Police, Attorney at Law, motivational speaker, teacher. And but before I go into your motivational speaking, I believe you were in courtship with this man and you had no clue what he did.
No fair, because I wasn't interested in what he did for a living. It was about 4 months down the road, I was brave enough to say, by the way, what do you do for a living? And he said, I'm an investment banker. I work at Wall Street, the stock market and all of that. Somebody said, oh, you're one of those money people. Because I am that pure, I am that simple.
You come straight out. Yeah.
Yes, and money is not important for me in terms of identifying a partner for life. Mm-hmm. And I said, listen, for you to get to me, you have to stimulate me intellectually. That's a difficult part with men, because after 5 minutes of talking to a man, and if you touch my intellect, then it's a no-no. But for him, from day one, he hit it. He hit my intellect. And then one day I said, you know, so you pass my head now, and you reach my neck, you go down to my breast. It means that you're making progress. He laughed till him one dead. I said, for you to pass my neck, you know, you sound like I'm going to marry you one day, you know. And I said, I prayed about it, and I said, God, is this the right man? And I asked some people at my church, Sister Paula and Sister Fraser, to pray for me and to say whether this is the right thing. And one day I said, God, show me a sign. And a voice said to me, ask him if he plays Scrabble. And if he says yes, that's your husband. And one day I said, do you play Scrabble? He said, I love Scrabble. And I said, oh my God, I'm good at, I love Scrabble too. And I said, Faye, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
And the man surprised me, big surprise engagement party. He made up with my sister, Liz in Florida. And they invited me down there to a housewarming party, only to realize that it was a surprise engagement.
Oh man, all of us women would like to find
right.
a gentleman like that gentleman,
Yes,
Calvin.
he-
But you're a great motivational speaker. You're a great storyteller. And how do you inspire other women or help anyone to just actualize themselves?
I tell women to accept who you are and build yourself, because it's not easy for you to want to build others and you are not built. Build yourself. Make yourself into a force to be reckoned with. And so I always tell women, love yourself first. Put you at the center and God there with you. This body is the only thing we have, because it is the house for our brain, our intellect. Maintain your integrity. Because a lot of Jamaican women, feel that they can throw themselves around, and at the end of the day, they end up with who they want and what they want. We better accept that there are double standards.
Yeah.
That men can do as they want and nobody frown on them. But we women have to keep it intact. Mm-hmm. And the men out there, some good men like my husband, they're always going to look for some cream of the crop. Mm-hmm. And so we have to keep what we have, hold on to the thing, don't let it go and throw it away all over the place.
We have just about a minute and a half left,
Yes.
but I couldn't finish it and not talk about some of the awards that you've had and acknowledgements. In the Jamaica Constabulary Force, you were acknowledged and honored?
Yes, recently the Governor General honored me by giving me an award for meritorious service. I got that last year on Era's Day, and I would have been given some form of a letter of acknowledgement by P.J. Pattison, and under Portia Simpson-Miller, Mrs. Portia Simpson-Miller, I would have gotten another award for contribution to the Jamaica Constabulary for the force, and by extension the country. And Mr. Peter Bunting in 2012, I think, gave me some kudos for my contribution in crime fighting and the work I did at Sissoka.
So how many more years will you spend in the JCF?
I have another 5 to go in a fee, because although I look like 34, I'm 55. November come in. Proud to tell the world that I'm 55 and looking damn good. Mr. Ellis, mwah.
So tell me, are you going to continue the 5 years, or are you going to move out and get into law
It depends, because we have a new commissioner, and he's somebody who I am personally welcome to the force, and I believe that he's hunting for people who can coalesce around him to uplift the force and to enhance the image of the force. And whatever way I can assist, I'm going to make myself available. So it depends on where they want to fit me in and how much I can contribute.
Gladys, shall I tell you,
I
this
have
is
a lot
just so
to give.
fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing your story so passionately.
Yes.
It's just great authenticity and just so honestly. Thank you
you.
so much. My guest has been Gladys Brown Ellis, Superintendent of Police, attorney at law, motivational speaker, teacher, minister, and all so much more, but more than anything else, a wife to Calvin.
Oh,
and that
yes.
is so important
And a son
her.
to Dwayne
Thank you for
Spencer.
joining me. This is Profile.